just looking at the world, like all this vicious rape shit that's going on right now. Like, you know, I know you've seen the police officer that just got hit with like 263 years. You know what I mean?
Yo, that's crazy.
Yo, like this guy, you know, this guy was out here. He really thought because he was a police officer that he was just going to rape 13 black chicks and get away with it. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that's real crazy, like the way the system's set up, you know what I mean? So the police officer is like black and Chinese, you know what I'm saying? Like black and Korean or something like that. I mean, no, he's white and Korean. I apologize. He's like white and Korean. So he really thought like the white privilege side of him was going to let him escape the shit. You know what I mean? So somebody posts up on the social media the sentencing. Yo, first of all, my heart dropped for him because you just don't want to see a human being get hit with numbers like that.
Nah. I don't want to see that. That shit was funny.
Like one time, I, you know what I mean? I was going through my own legal issues, so I'm sitting in the federal courtroom, and I seen somebody get hit with like 379 months to life. You know what I mean?
That's too much math for me. 179 months. You got to divide that by
379 months. 379 months is like almost 60 years fed time, man, to life. So there's like, if you got to do 85% of that, you already looking at 45 years before you can even talk to somebody for parole. And the dude was like 50 already. You know what I'm saying? He running liquid crack and liquid heroin out of a dope spot in Bucks County. And served undercover, and they ran in there and caught him with like 16 gallons of liquid crack, man, and all this money, man. They roofed him. You know what I'm saying?
So if you get like 45 years, you know what I mean, and you 50, you might as well just like
chalk it. You might as well chalk it. You got two options: run. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get all your assets and post a bail if they give you a bail. And run, you know what I'm saying? Like, word up, kiss the wife and kids goodbye, and run. Cause listen, man, I'm at a very adult age. I'm not going to expose my age on here. I'm at a very adult age, bro. It's no way in hell I'm giving them 5 minutes. If they talk about Barksdale, we about to book you for 5 minutes. You know what? Catch me if you can, like the gingerbread man. You know what I'm saying? They ain't getting that time from me. I'm sorry. But, you know, to go back on topic, so he's sitting in the courtroom. He rocking in the chair. You know, he already, his resolve is already breaking down. You know what I'm saying? When you standing there, you stand down the judge, man, and you looking at your sentencing, man, you got to already be right in your mind and your heart. Like, yo, I did this. I got to ride with this. But when you do some old wild shit, it ain't sitting right with you. He probably sitting in that courtroom like, yo, she was a prostitute, though. Yeah, she was a prostitute, but that don't mean you could just run up on her and rape her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like he went to the girl crib. It was a 17-year-old girl. Wow, he crazy. Went to the crib and was like, yo, what's your name? She like, da, 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 da. He like, bitch, you got warrants. Searched her down, fingered her vagina, bro, then took her somewhere and knocked her off. You know what I mean? The boy had 36 counts. It was 36 counts they talked about, dog.
Yeah, his name was Daniel Holtzclaw.
Yeah, this boy had 18 counts of forced oral sodomy.
It's not funny.
It's not funny, but peep the wording of this shit. Now, I thought you could only be sodomized in the anal cavity.
Well, apparently you're not a lawyer.
Apparently not. 18 counts of forced oral sodomy. Every one of those 18 counts of forced oral sodomy equaled 16 years in jail.
So, I mean, my whole thing is, I mean, if he was raping prostitutes, that means instead of forced oral sodomy, he could have had, like, paid him, like, $50 and got voluntary.
I mean, he could have definitely got voluntary sodomy. You know what I mean? He could have sat and watched them solicit themselves to someone else and be like, haha, I caught you. You know, you don't want to go to jail.
Nah, that's what he was kind of doing that.
No. He was running up on them, like really touching them, fondling them. Like, yo, the boy had like crazy counts of sexual assault. He got, listen, every one of the rape charges that he got found guilty for, they gave him 30 years, bro.
I mean, that's about right.
That is about right. But you're talking about 30 times 7. Like, did you see the video?
I mean, I see what people posting on Facebook. I find it hilarious because he was balling, like, you know what I mean?
Yo, he looked at the jury and said, "How could you do this? Motherfucker, how could you do this?"
I mean, I haven't cried like that since I was like 6 and was getting beaten.
Man, last time I cried like that, I seen loved ones get put in the ground. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way that you could seriously go out here and do the things that you did and then spin around and act like you wasn't supposed to get roofed. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think Kat thought it was like the 1950s where you could just rape black people and get away with it. And
man,
like the whole system was going to hold you down. Like, you know.
Them days is done. You know what I'm saying? Them days is done. If you out here thinking you going to violate black people too much, them days is done. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You can shoot somebody, but you can't be raping them.
You just can't be raping. You out here raping, and you ain't even got the decency to protect your wife. You out here raping raw. They finding DNA all on your cop suit. You know what I'm saying? Like you deserve all that shit.
So he pretty much he ain't even wash his stuff good.
Man, listen, the way they talking, they ran down on this boy, man, and it was no question that he was guilty. He was in police custody. He was in police custody from the time the charges came up. I need the audience at home to hear this, to hear the roofing of this officer. That paper that you hear flipping, that's every count that the jury had to say guilty or not guilty. It's 36 papers.
That's too much paper, huh?
The judge is mad. His lawyers are.
Verdict seemed to be in proper order.
Listen to this.
In the District Court of Oklahoma County, State of Oklahoma, the State of Oklahoma versus Daniel Holtzclaw, case number CF 2014-5869. Verdict, count 1, sexual battery. We, the jury, impaneled and sworn in the above entitled cause, do upon our oaths find as follows. Defendant is guilty of the crime of sexual battery and set punishment at 8 years. Count 2, procuring lewd exhibition. Not guilty of the crime of procuring lewd exhibition.
Not guilty of lewd exhibition.
Burglary in the first degree. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of burglary in the first degree, nor lesser included.
He was robbing people too. Huh?
Count 4.
Here we go.
Procuring lewd exhibition. Defendant is guilty of the crime of procuring lewd exhibition, and punishment is set at 5 years.
5 years.
Defendant is guilty of the crime of procuring lewd exhibition, and punishment is set at 5 years.
That's 10 years. He got 10 years for pulling his dick out.
Defendant is not guilty of the crime of stalking. Count 7. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of sexual battery.
Do you hear him whining in the background?
Count 8. Defendant is guilty of the crime of forcible oral sodomy, and punishment is set at 20 years.
God damn. Did you hear the cry and wince aloud?
Was that him or his wife?
That was him. Listen to it again. Watch a man who was man enough to rape turn into a bitch in 10 seconds. Watch.
Count 6. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of stalking. Count 7. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of sexual battery. Count 8. Defendant is guilty of the crime of forcible oral sodomy, and punishment is set at 20 years. Count 9. Rape in the first degree. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of rape in the first degree. Count 10. Forcible oral sodomy. Defendant is guilty of the crime of forcible oral sodomy, and punishment is set at 16 years.
Listen, if you can do math, this guy was just hit with 55 years of the first 9 counts. And it's 36 of them.
See, I'm a little confused. How do you get 20 years for the first oral sodomy and 16 for the second count of oral sodomy? Like, was it like, did he go a little bit longer on the first one?
Well, I think that he had some minors. He had like the 17-year-old. He had some minors on it. That's, you know what I'm saying. And then the one woman that actually was on video speaking out, she looked like she was like 40 plus. So it was like elderly abuse. You know what I'm saying? Like elderly abuse and child abuse gonna always carry a heavier length than, you know what I mean, 22, 23-year-old.
So you should orally sodomize somebody around 25, 26?
You shouldn't orally sodomize anyone, because oral sodomy is going to get you 16 to 20. Listen.
But how do you don't get you're not found guilty of rape, but you just found guilty of oral sodomy.
Oh, well, they wasn't done. See, out of 36 counts, you know, some of the stories didn't add up apparently,
Gotcha.
And he beat some of those rapes, but then it was still, you know, forced oral sodomy. So forced oral sodomy is like another way of rape without carrying the word rape. So it's like Grand Theft Auto and joyriding. You understand what I'm saying? Like Grand Theft Auto is going to get you 10 years. You plea out to joyriding, it's a slap on the wrist and some points on your license. You understand what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So if you are found guilty of rape, they're going to slam you with 20. But if you're found guilty of forced oral sodomy, then you get the lesser of the numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So listen to this, man.
Count 11. Rape in the first degree. Defendant is guilty of the crime of rape in the first degree, and punishment is set at 30 years.
Bumbleclot. That's 80 years.
12. Forcible oral sodomy. Defendant is not guilty of the crime of forcible oral sodomy.
See, he didn't get that one.
13.
Because he got the rape case.
Guilty of the crime of sexual battery, and punishment is set at 8 years.
We had about 78.
14. Sexual battery. Defendant is guilty of the crime of sexual battery, and punishment is set at 8 years.
Bumbleclot.
Count 15, procuring lewd exhibition. Defendant is guilty of the crime of procuring lewd exhibition, and punishment is set at 5 years.
We had about 100 years now.
16, forcible oral sodomy. Defendant is guilty of the crime of forcible oral sodomy, and punishment is set at 16 years.
Bumble.
Count 17, forcible oral sodomy.
I mean, I think we get the idea. But the guy really, really liked oral sodomy. Apparently,
he's like the oral sodomizer. This shit is crazy, man. And it ain't. And when I look back at it, man, I think about the nature of this guy's crimes, man. Like, this guy just really thought it was okay because he was a cop and white, that he could go out here and do this to these young African-American ladies, bro.
I mean, is it something in our society that makes people think they can do that, or is it just he just happens to be a sick individual?
He's a sick bastard because I'm a black man, and I'm going to just keep it real. It's hard enough to get a black woman to give you oral pleasure when she your lady. You know what I'm saying? Like, you out here.
No, I don't know what you said.
Like, I've never had the pleasure of just walking up on a random female I don't know and being like, "Hey, shorty, you might as well suck this dick."
I mean, I have never done that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what he was doing. Like, I'm not talking like, you know what I mean? It's your lady. You know, it is a prerequisite for your lady to, you know what I mean, to handle you. But in the same token, you know, we want to get handled as soon as she walk in the door. If you getting handled by your lady as soon as she walk in the door from work, you was a good husband. You was a good motherfucker. Me personally, I must not be that good, because when she walks in the crib, I'm like, hey, I need to be orally pleasured. She like, damn, can I take a shower first? Can I get myself together first.
I prefer you not.
That's what I'm saying. I want it when I want it. You understand what I'm saying? But no, like, just being all the way being honest, like, you know what I'm saying? African American women, man, they not no pushovers. You know what I mean? You're not going to just run up on them and hit them with the flim flam and it's going to go your way. You understand what I'm saying? And so I don't know what made this guy think, like, I'm a police officer, I'm just going to take what I want. And it's not going to be no repercussion. Like those ladies was just going to shut up and deal with that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but if they was like prostitutes, he could have just paid them and then, work a little bit of overtime.
That's what I'm saying. He
I know he's getting overtime.
Yeah, of course he's getting overtime. That's how 36 counts of overtime. You know what I mean? Like he was running down on chicks at their crib, and then like, oh, you was good. I'll be back.
He was just blatant with it, huh?
Yeah.
Like nobody was going to say nothing.
He was raw. You know what I'm saying? He was raw. And the thing that really break my heart is that he got hit with 36 counts. And when you really do the math, he was found not guilty for more than half of the shit.
Well, I mean, I guess, once you get 200 and something years, it don't matter. It really don't matter whether,
roof his motherfucking ass. Roof him. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I was in the courtroom and when the cameras scoured the room, there was no black people in the room. Not a black bailiff, no black lawyer, no black sheriffs, no black people just in the crowd from what I saw. And my whole thing is, if I was in the crowd, I'm cheering like it's a Patriots game. Roof his ass. So keep going.
It was like a mercy rule, huh?
No, I don't.
After 260 years, I mean.
Yeah, they like throw the mercy. You know what I'm saying? No mercy.
Trial over, huh?
Yeah, roof his ass. Everything that he guilty of, roof him. Because you best believe if it was vice versa, and it was Officer Joe Schmo Anybo, and he was running around and raped 13 white women, 13 white prostitutes, or however the case may be, and he had 36 counts, he'd have been guilty of 38 of them. Yeah, 38 out of 30. It would have been extra credit.